Guys, Texas A&M is 4-0. That was a Freudian slip right there. You're on your journey to not be 8-4 right now because you went 4-0 to start the game. Wow. We should restart the show. No music. We're not very hyped up. A&M is 4-0. Ugly game. Things that don't feel great. Penalties. Bad on third down. Rough stuff. Overall, though, sitting here 24 hours later, I think I feel good. I just got done rewatching the game. You know, there's some stuff in there you want to go back and work on, and it's going to be a great week of practice. It's going to be a great, once again, game to go back and reflect on. This time with the offensive side of the football. Before it was the defense, maybe not as good as you would hope on the road at Notre Dame. You flip the script this game. Defense plays strong. I think A&M's in a place where if you can find a way to make them meet in the middle, I think we're starting to see the ceiling of this team become revealed because, you know, you feel a little bad after the game. Coming out of it, a little sour taste in your mouth. But when you sit on it and you look at what this team has been working towards, and that's defensive improvement in year 2 under Mike Elko, it feels like you're maybe stepping towards that. It feels like that was going to be a ramp up and you were going to build towards defensive improvement over the course of the year. And I think you took a big step in that regard against, let's be honest, Auburn. Not a clicking football team offensively, not a team that's a well-oiled machine offensively, but a team that's very dangerous offensively, a team that had a lot of weapons, a team that you really had to tackle well against. And when you look at the replay of this game and you're sitting there watching it at Kyle Field or on your couch, I think that one of the biggest things that stands out in this game was A&M's ability to tackle and get bodies on the ground. I have a list of good and bad from this game. It's just a bunch of bullet points. The good side is actually bigger than the bad side. I know I'm looking through maroon-colored lenses here, but in terms of things we needed to see, tackling was better. Tackling angles were better. Defense overall picked up the slack in a game where you weren't getting the offensive scoring you were used to so far in the season. Offensively, though, you were still able to control the game in the second half. And I thought the really cool thing about this game, what A&M was able to do, is say, we can just control this game because I don't think Auburn's going to score on this defense. You can go out there, you can give the rock to Le'Veon Moss 21 times. Le'Veon's another positive in the game. That kid's looking healthy. Such a joy to see him back out there. It's amazing every time you see him because the dude's coming off of the ACL, MCL, and he's out there as if he's himself. What a joy to see that. You were able to push around a good defense. Say what you want about Auburn. Say what you want about maybe their secondary, their quarterback stuff. We knew Auburn had a really good front seven. It's built from the trenches out. It's a classic-looking SEC defense. And you could see it on the field. If you're at the stadium, if you're watching on TV, very bulky, very athletic front seven, number 15, number 17, a couple of really good players in this league. And A&M was blowing holes all day. Le'Veon, 6.6 yards per carry. Reuben Owens got it going, a couple of explosives on the game, 17-plus yards a carry. And he only had a few carries, and I think Reuben Owens might have a growing role coming soon. You were able to kind of control a game in a different way. Really interesting to see that A&M, you know, we've seen him win the shootout, right? Shootout is one part of it. That's a great way to win games. That's what we thought our identity would be. We thought maybe this would be a high-scoring game. I was pounding the over for this game. But it turns out you can win other ways too. You can win a defensive slugfest. I kind of got taken back to the 2021 Auburn game, and I was just waiting for that Michael Clemens-like moment at the end where A&M stamps the win in. A&M's able to like go home and feel good. And I thought it was that Mario Craver touchdown. Didn't happen. But you're able to control a game. You're able to take strides in areas you hadn't seen before. And you're able to make a lot of mistakes that you can go and clean up and say, hey, we can get better and be this. We can get better. We've seen both sides of it. We've seen the offense play well. We've seen the defense play well. Let's try to get there. Mississippi State on deck. Dangerous team. Offensive firepower. A lot of it. A team that feels really good about themselves. A team that finally believes. Jeff Levy has that thing turned around. This is a team that was blown out by Toledo last year. And here they are, competitive overtime win versus Tennessee. Another big test. It doesn't get any easier in the SEC. But here are the things that we need to work on. And I think these are things that can be addressed pretty quickly. I mean, penalties. There's going to be a narrative that Auburn got a lot of makeup calls with penalties. Maybe that's true. Some of the stuff was ticky-tack. I went back and I rewatched the game. I think I've rewatched all but the last 5 minutes of the game. So if there's anything in there, I missed the lineman downfield. I haven't seen that one yet. I'll get back to you there. But everything I've seen, most of them, all but one or two, there's an argument to be made that the call was correct. However, those are calls that don't always get made. Some very ticky-tack holdings. There was a defensive PI holding by Tyreek Chappelle where he kind of just lightly grabbed the guy on the waist, and the guy kind of acted and spun around, got called for it. But the special teams penalties were real, man. Albert Regis, the roughing, that was extremely late. No need to get that close. The Albert Regis extracurricular, the unnecessary roughness, I mean, that was borderline. But don't put yourself in that position. Offensive line's just getting penalized a little bit too much. In play, not a lot of procedurals this game. It was all in play. Maybe getting a little bit too handsy, a little bit too grabby, I guess. He's got to be careful, man. 13 penalties, 119 yards in penalties. That's almost as much as Auburn gained as an offense. You almost outgained them in penalty yardage. You got to fix that. You were 3 for 14, I think, on third down, 3 for 12, something like that on third down offensively. And Mike Elko alluded to this in the postgame presser. I don't think they had a great game plan, and I think Auburn had a really good third down game plan. They walked their entire front seven, horizontal line, on the line of scrimmage, made the offensive line, made Marcel Reed look at it, pick their assignments. The first time they did it in the game, the first third and long in the game, they brought them all. And we know how this works. Mike Elko does the same thing. You show them all, but you don't necessarily bring them all. They brought them right away, and that was in the databanks for Marcel Reed the whole game. But I don't think they had a good contingency. I think they ran 1 or 2 screens off of it, and they worked pretty well. But I think consistently, there wasn't a consistent check down option. There wasn't a consistent quick route option. And I think Marcel was a step slow evading pressure in that regard. So their third down package, I'm going to give Durkin, I'm going to give the Smilers some credit. It worked. It did well. But A&M staff needs to work on their counters. Think about this kind of, this look that you'll probably get down the road. Because it's a fact now. Right now, Marcel Reed, as it stands, has not handled blitzes extremely well. I think versus Notre Dame, he was only a 38% passer while blitzed. I can pull it up for this game. It's a difference. And this is on the coaching staff because I think Marcel Reed can make lemonade here. And I think if you have the right game plan and you're ready for this kind of thing, you can make it work. But that was something very real that I want to see addressed by this team going forward because I think teams can see that. All right, I have the stats here. When blitzed, Marcel Reed dropped to a 46% passer. When not blitzed, check this out. This is insane. When blitzed, 46% passer. No pressure, not even pressure, not even talking about pressure. Pressure can happen on a non-blitz play. On non-blitz plays, Marcel Reed completed 90% of his passes. So that was the game plan. It worked. Marcel Reed missed another deep ball. After rewatching, Marcel Reed did pretty well. There were some moments in the game. It was the third downs. It was the deep ball. There was the interception, obviously. We'll talk about that in a second. That wasn't great. There were bad moments in the game, but I think top to bottom, Marcel did pretty well. He's not running a lot. Y'all notice this? I'm sure you do. I'm wondering if it's lingering effects from the injury from Utah State. I'm wondering if they're kind of saying, okay, let's just chill a little bit. We're not going to go through this quarterback shuffle like we've done in years past. I'm wondering if there's some of that there. Not injured, just kind of banged up. Just want to preserve him because with the weapons you have on offense, you probably don't need to run your quarterback an extremely high amount. The pull read was there, though, and you have to imagine that he wasn't green-lighted to do so. Those weren't actually zone reads. They were just classic standard handoffs. So they're kind of fading the quarterback run game right now, and I'm interested to see how that evolves over the course of the year. But I think that third down, just kind of being flexible based on the look you're getting, being able to adjust to that, is a pretty big deal. Snaps were high as well. That pick play, the play that got intercepted, the one where our hearts sunk, the one where I was like, are you serious right now? Is this really happening? The near pick six, credit to Bussy, Marcel chasing him down. I think Craver was in on that too. It was a high snap that Marcel had to corral and probably caused the pass to be a little bit inaccurate. Bussy probably still should have come down with it. But we had a high snap problem throughout the game. And that's very unusual for this team. This team has not had snap problems since maybe 2021. Something to clean up. Another sloppy factor in the game. We talked about special teams, some penalties. The kicking game, once undeniable strength, has been down for a couple of games, I would say. I mean, Randy Bond had a pretty good close to the Notre Dame game. Missed one in there. It was a 50-plus yarder, tough one to make. But a couple of shanks in the game from Tyler White. We had the penalty. We had a missed, non-50-yard field goal later in the game. The field goal kicker is a weird one because I am confident in Randy Bond. However, there was the shuffle. Zirkle did win it out, win the job in fall camp. So I'm looking at that as something where's the confidence of this kicker right now? Because he lost the job, he won it back, he's missed a couple now. That's something I'm keeping an eye out for. Hopefully he finds some confidence, finds some consistency. I don't want to be flip-flopping more. Zirkle had the groin injury. That's been a factor in why Bond got it back. Bond's looked more like himself, according to Elko. Let's just see that thing play out. Let's get it a little bit cleaner. And then, of course, the two shanks in the game. One, you had a good bounce late in the game by Tyler White, and it ended up getting some distance just based on the roll. But a short, ugly shank earlier in the game, and he's been pretty inconsistent on the year. Return game was pretty good. You got number 7, you got KC going, but the kicking game has evaded us a little bit. That's something to watch because we think that's a strength for the team when we're at our best, and it just hasn't really been. But overall, great on defense. I mean, you held them to 0% on third downs, man. 0 successful third down conversions for Auburn. And again, don't let them tell you Auburn's just terrible on offense. They might be bad. But A&M left 0 doubt. They did not crack the door open at all for the Auburn offense to get things going. And that has to be something you can build around. Let's highlight some defensive players before we get into you guys. Say what's up to everybody in the chat and get into the calls here. Dayon Hayes arrived. Speed rush, bull rush, getting around guys, getting the game-sealing sack. I talked about Dayon Hayes as one of my guys going into the year. Just took a few games, right? Dayon Hayes is here. Dayon Hayes was making things happen. He was giving that right tackle hell all game. Tyler Onyedem, same thing, man. Quick, strong, veteran player on the interior. DJ Hicks, man. He gave him a big old hug, right? He gave Jackson Arnold a big old hug on that sack. That was awesome to see. Torrin York probably had his best game as an Aggie. And I thought he had his best game to date versus UTSA in game 1. He was quick. He was decisive. He was a great tackler. Great stuff from Torian. And I continue to say, man, our 3 corners, including Tyreek Chappelle at nickel, are absolute nails. Yes, of course, Jackson Arnold missed some opportunities, but there were very, very few windows there. Very few obvious windows there. They communicated well on zone defense. They played well on man defense. It was a great, great outing for this corner group. And I know a lot of people think Will Lee might have intercepted that ball. That was the one where we got beat, was that Will Lee. That was a toss-up play. They give the benefit of the doubt to the offensive player there. Even if Will Lee dominated it, even if Will Lee had more of an arm on it, was hugging it, if that offensive player has one arm on it, they're just going to give it to the offensive player, especially with the way the refs are blowing the whistle. It could have been a great play. But overall, man, the corners played so well. The safeties played well, man. They run supported well. They tackled well. I mean, what a 180. What a 180 from this defense. It was so, so good to see. Damian Sanford continues to play well. I think the D-line is awesome right now, guys. And it's a really good test against a truly high-power offense next week. Blake Shapen, good receiver core, good offensive line. Mississippi State next week. I think there will be more points to be had against them. Can we take that opportunity, and can we take this defensive performance forward to that next game? A&M's a 12-point favorite right now. It's a pretty big spread at home. After what they just did on the at home against Tennessee, I mean that's given A&M some love there. I think. Can we go prove them right? Can we go leave no doubt? And can we take the next step? There are steps being taken. Can we get 4 quarters together? That's all Elko talked about in the post-game presser. Can they play 4 quarters on both sides of the football? Because we've seen them at their best. We've seen them at their worst. Can we keep going the right direction? 4-0, man. Not 8-4. 4-0. Feel really, really good about this team despite the sloppiness, despite the bad stuff that was there. I think I've added some confidence because I think we know what this offense can be. We've seen it. And we shot ourselves in the foot a lot this game. A lot. Just clean it up. Bring that defense forward. Guys, thank you so much for being here. Let's say what's up to everybody in the chat. We got Russ. Aggies are a bunch of penalties and a bit long ball accuracy from Marcel to be a very good team. Amen. Amen. You had 1 or 2 of those long balls this game. At this point, it's a trend, man. We got to have a trend breaker. We got to just connect on 1 to get that good feeling, man. Good to see you, Russ. All I know is Auburn folks around me are ready to send Freeze packing. Yeah, that was the thing, man. We saw a lot of confidence from the Auburn faithful this week, and I think they showed that the defense is formidable. A&M still dominated the game largely. It was like 420 yards to 150, something like that. But good on third down. I think a good game plan by DJ Durkin for the third downs, seeing what Marcel struggles with, our inability to adjust with it. They just went with it. That was good by them. But I think down to down overall, A&M did as well as you could have asked, and they still showed some good stuff defensively. But they had extreme confidence this week, I think, because they needed this win so bad to kind of salvage this Hugh Freeze era. Because the loss here is exactly what you're saying, Barnes. It takes them to this thought process of, man, is this going to get better? Is this going to get better? I find it interesting. I think Jackson Arnold hasn't shown much life yet. Some running ability, but we've seen the problems. His previous quarterback was Peyton Thorne. It seems like the quarterback's holding him back. Pick someone else. You're Auburn. You can get anybody you want out of the portal for the most part. That's just kind of head-scratching to me. Lewis says, we have a defense. Absolutely. Le'Veon Moss, elite flu game. Did he have the flu? I didn't even know that. Drew, I feel like we're living in a bizarro world. Whenever we ever been ranked higher than both Bama and Georgia, this is new territory. 100%. SEC is wide open, man. SEC is wide open. I think right now, clearly towards the top, you have A&M. Bama, Georgia still hovering around there. Texas has one loss. See if they can get back into shape. Ole Miss is striving right now. LSU maybe down right now. It's wide open. Nothing's solidified. A&M can rise. A&M can stay at the top. A&M can fall because there are some losable games. Even the Florida game is weird. That's a good defense with an offense that we know have talent but just haven't been good. There's a big opportunity is what I'm trying to say. It's a big opportunity. It's a wide open race. And look, the schedule doesn't look any harder than it did week one. It's not like these teams are locking in. We're not playing Ole Miss. We're not playing Bama or Georgia. It's LSU, Texas, Missouri, Mississippi State, Florida, and South Carolina. Feels like if we keep getting better, we can win 10, man. It's right there for us. It's right there. That CB duo, man. It's so good. It's so good. I'm enjoying it so much, man. I love these guys. Des Ricks, guys. Tip of the hat to Des Ricks, man. Think about how he ended last year and where he is now. We have so much confidence in him right now because he's so good. Big scapegoat last year. Rightfully so. Not even a scapegoat. He allowed a lot last year. Young player. Cornerback one role versus Auburn and versus Southern Cal. They punished us for that. But now he's grown, and they bring Julio Humphrey in, and Des Ricks feels footsteps, sees a guy that was able to play at Georgia, could lose his spot to the guy, but Des Ricks just clamps down on it, takes it, runs with it. Now we feel like we have one of the best corner duos in the conference. We feel that way right now. And a great test coming up. Blake Shapen's playing some really good football. They have some good receivers. Can't wait to see it again. I can't wait to see him build on this game. Drew, are you good? I'm tired, dude. I traveled. I didn't sleep last night. I had a rough hotel situation last night. I went to the game with my brother and my dad. There was a mix-up with the hotel room situation. It was like a one king bed for the three of us. So I slept on the couch. Not a pull-out, just a couch. Very small couch. I'm like 6'1", 6'2". This couch was probably like 5'5". So I'm on zero sleep right now. We're hanging in there. We're hanging in there tight. I was so nervous. I was nervous. Here's one aspect of the game I didn't talk about, Troy. Here's one thing I didn't talk about. As scary as that game was offensively, that late turnover, the penalties, it seemed like every time we were in position to score, penalties. We just shoot ourselves in the foot, go backwards, get off the field on third down offensively. Not good. But I was nervous, but at the same time, I was really confident in the defense the whole game. I felt like as soon as Auburn got the ball back, it's like, I think we're going to stop them again, man. They haven't done anything. They've gotten a couple of first downs on us. It was like 21 first downs to 9 total first downs for Auburn, 0 third down conversions. So as nervous as I was in the moments of that game and the way the game flowed and felt, I was confident in the defense after that first quarter and seeing how that went down. It was a really interesting, weird game. It's a very strange game. So against what I thought this game was going to be. If offense and defense can meet in the middle, watch out 100%. Aaron, good to see you. There's something to be said about a character of a team when you can win not playing very well. These last two are games the Aggies 100% in the past, 100% lose in the past years. 100%, man. 100%. And I said this in my post-game reaction video. It's like it was a very different game the way it played out versus Notre Dame, but very similar in that A&M played mistake football on one side of the field, but you still find a way to win the game. Those are not characteristics we're super used to around here. We're also not used to being 4-0. Last time that happened was 2016. See if we can finish a little bit better than that year. Still a long way to go. We dominated Auburn. The score did not reflect the reality of the game, says Chris, 100%. To me, the refs are horrible. I rewatched it. Ticky-tack. Sure, some of those don't get called, but there's an argument for most of them. There were about 2 or 3. I'm like, dude, no. Like there was a Armaje Reed Adams holding call where he literally just pancaked a guy. Didn't see that one. There was a Naboo one early in the game. Very ticky-tack, barely a hold. It was. I don't want to get too into it because I don't like to blame refs. I'm not a ref harper. I still feel like put yourself out of position to make those. It was ticky-tack in the game. Defense saved the game. Yes, they did play to win. Yes, they did. Our D was clutch. Marcel really needs to hone in on his deep pass accuracy. He does. At this point, again, it's a trend. Can we fix that? We need to give Owens the ball more. I'll say this in defense of Amari Daniels, because I know we're seeing this. Amari's getting some carries, only had 3.2 yards per carry this game. Daniels has been nails in pass pro. That's going to earn you minutes. That's going to earn you reps. That keeps you on the field. That keeps you in the coach's good graces. And Amari would have had a much better yard per carry day because he had an explosive run of like 20-plus yards early in the game that got called back for that ticky-tack Mark Naboo hold. So he would have probably averaged 4.5 to 5 yards a carry if that one stood. So I don't know. I think Amari's earned it just in that pass pro, man. He's been so good in pass pro. And you can't just have him be out there if you're passing the football, right? That is too obvious. You can't have that read. You can't be like, oh, five's out there, pass, pass, pass. You got to run him. I agree that Owens has earned more carries. Ruben Owens looked really good yesterday. Who else got scared when Le'Veon got up limping? Dude, I'm scared every time he gets tackled. How is he doing this? It's insane. It's so impressive coming off of the ACL, MCL. Outside of some of the pass pro issues, I really liked how much push our O-line got. Yeah. It was a really good O-line day outside of the. There were a couple of pass pro issues. I think the penalties were the bigger issue. There were a couple where they got mixed up on the reads when they were showing a lot of pressure. There were a couple of those for sure. Auburn is the best defense we'll see besides Texas. I think Florida's probably better. I think it's going to be Texas, Florida, and then Auburn. I think. That's my opinion right now, Young Alpha Cobra. John Prony, good to see you. Yeah, I'm with you, Rufus. York had his best game of the year, one game after probably the worst game at Notre Dame. Absolutely. What a bounce back, man. Good call, Living by Jay. He was maybe 4 yards downfield. There was another player within 5 yards when the touchdown should have counted. Yeah, I heard it was inconsequential. I didn't watch the replay of that play just yet. I heard he was maybe just past the threshold, but it was an inconsequential play. Again, I don't think the fix was in or anything like that. I don't believe in that. I think just refs are just bad in this conference. But I do think there was like this added element that they were probably told, like, call your holdings, call everything you see. You have to call these right. And there was maybe a little bit too much thought into it. Very, very loose whistles, I would say. You think they're trying to throw him a bone? I don't believe in that, but maybe. There's an argument. Maybe. I saw big improvement with the defense, says Cade. Not as many question marks with the defense now. They just got to do it again, right? That's the challenge of the defense. Just do it freaking again. Defense was flying around all day. Man, it was refreshing to see 100%. The smiler. Yeah, dude, he's the smiler. He's the smiler. I felt like it was after halftime we went vanilla offense, daring Auburn to do something. Exactly what we did. And I don't know if I love that. I would have loved to see some more of the kind of screen game, some of the short, quick hitter game. I think that's in our bag right now. But why put it at risk, I guess, when you're running pretty damn well and they can't really do anything with the ball. It felt like we were comfortable to have to punt, play field position if we had to, just because we were just absolutely stopping them, man. Crazy, man. I can't believe we're talking about the team this way. It's just shocking. It's just such a change. What up, Jordan? Good to see you. I would like to see Marcel check down on the flats more often. That's one of the biggest ways to counter those blitzes and bump his completion percentage. 100% need to do that. Was a problem last year. Couple available this game. I will say, though, there were about 12 third downs in the game. We were 3 of 12, I think. There wasn't even a flat option on some of those plays, and that goes on the coaching staff. So we need to draw out our third down blitz look package a little bit better, get a check for that a little bit better. But he did miss probably 2 of those, I think, living by Jay, if memory serves. And yeah, that's not something he did well last year either. 8 games left. At least we can't lose Marcel on a random quarterback keeper. Yeah, we can't. We cannot. That's exactly right. And again, you have the weapons around him to not have to just rely on quarterback run. I would like to see a little bit more, though, but maybe they just don't feel comfortable letting him get hits. You guys kept Simmons and Coleman from being factors, and that made a huge difference. 100% it did. We played Auburn's offense better than OU's all-world defense did. Exactly, man. Are we the all-world defense now? I think maybe Auburn's offense is a little bit worse than people thought, and I think our defense absolutely took strides. I think both of those things happened, and we held them to 3 points for all intents and purposes, right? We held Simmons, Coleman, Cobb is a good running back. They're supposed to have a good offensive line, dominated. We made them look pretty bad, and I don't know how they're going to be going forward. Happy with the outcome with all the mistakes. The mistakes are correctable, and that gives me hope for a clean game against State. I think right now, early feel on State, a reckoning is coming. A reckoning is coming. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. I'm going to look at them a lot closer. I've not done film work on Mississippi State just yet. A couple more in the chat, and then we'll get right into the calls. We have Britt Ag waiting. We have Play to Win, Rich, Lash. I'll get to you guys in just a second. I've been an Aggie my whole life. That was one of the first times I wasn't worried when our offense faltered, which is crazy based on what we've seen so far this year. And someone said this in the chat. I don't think I read it off. Notre Dame, since that game, has scored 50-plus in back-to-back games. That offense looks really good. CJ Carr looks really good. So maybe holding them to 33 is not as bad as we initially thought. And we know we had some bad plays in that game. We know we left some on the board defensively that game, too. We made mistakes. Defense might have arrived, guys. It's all about the follow-up, man. I blame refs as long as there's no standardization. More pressure will eventually lead to better regulation. Of course, man. Refs are terrible. They're terrible. His response opens up the question: should we as fans should expect a disciplined team? We pay for a product on the field, so I believe we do. Yeah, but if there was like a pill to take to be a disciplined, solid team, they would take the pill. They have to work on it. They have to get better at it. And of course, that can doom you. It hasn't yet. It hasn't doomed you yet. You have time to fix it. 13 penalties in back-to-back games. You hit lucky 13 twice in a row. Let's fix it. Clean up the penalty, sky's the limit. I agree. LSU defense is good too. That's true. That's correct, Rufus. We didn't mention LSU. I think there are 3 defenses will play better than Auburn's. I don't know what the belief level is going to be in Florida by the time we play them. That's a total wild card game right now. But as of right now, Florida looks like a legit defense. Are you worried about Marcel Reed staying healthy, and do you trust the backups we have? Am I worried about him staying healthy? I don't think I'm worried about it. Of course, your quarterback one that you're built for getting hurt would be a major detriment to your team. And I like the talent we have in the quarterback room. It is too young. It is not something I want to rely on right now at this point in time. So worried? No, I don't want to see it. I think it would be terrible for the team. We need quarterback consistency. That alone is huge. Notre Dame's an elite on offense. CJ Carr may be the best quarterback I've seen this year and is getting better. Ag defense versus Notre Dame might look much better over time. You're the one who said it, Bruce. You're the one who said it. Good call. That defense is looking really strong. All right. Cold Cheddar says 1-0. 1-0 mentality, baby. 1-0 mentality. Should we be disappointed when we win, but we weren't disciplined with our play? I don't think we should be disappointed. I think you should say there are things to fix, but disappointed? No, you won a game. You're 4-0. Feel good about that. Feel good about that. All right, let's get into the calls. I'm hanging in there, guys. Zero sleep Drew right now. We're alive. We're alive. Britt Ag, you're on with Drew. How you feeling, my friend? Oh, you're muted. You're muted, Britt Ag. Oh, I don't have you. I still don't hear you. All right, I'm going to put you in the back room. I'll get you on as a second call. Right now, I'm not getting any audio from you. I'll get you on next. Play to win. How you feeling, my friend?
Hey, buddy. How's it going?
Not bad, man. Not bad. We're 4-0. I mean, how much can I complain about it? Wasn't the prettiest game, wasn't a perfect game, but you won a game in a way we have not seen yet. So I do feel good about that.
Yeah, me too. I mean, well, I think the point spread was about right. They were calling 6.5. So
right on it, dead on.
Yeah, but as far as the score, I guess I was walking at Disney World smoking crack and came up with 49-17 Aggies, which was way further from the truth. But it became a defensive battle that we won. You know, and we scored enough points. I mean, by halftime, we'd only scored 1 touchdown. The first touchdown make it look easy, and then all we could do is kick field goals and miss 2. So I'm just glad I was at that point. I hope we come over with a win, and we survive it, and we did, thank God. So the penalties, we know the penalties, 13 for 119, but man, look, you can't be a championship team committing those kind of fouls, especially unsportsmanlike and running the kicker.
Yeah,
we got to get rid of. Geez,
at the bare minimum, those. Yeah,
sure. Well, the false starts is bad enough.
Yeah,
that'll hurt us. And but I mean, all in all, we came out with a win, but it was our defense that stepped up. Can you imagine if we still had Nick Scorton?
Well, look, man, I think this D-line's playing well. I think they're fine without him right now. Well, honestly, I think one of the things I was thinking about is, it's college football, right? If you're recruiting and you're bringing in players at the highest level, you are going to lose shiny toys. It's going to happen. But the thing is, you're getting guys stepping up who we haven't seen it from before. Today was Dayon Hayes, number 50. That was a new guy we haven't seen it from before. So we're doing what programs that recruit and can acquire talent to the level of A&M are supposed to do. Because if you're good, you just lose players. That's how it is. That's how it's going to go. But
able to shout out to our
guys step
defense.
up.
I'm, I say I wish I had Nick score, but we got one hell of a defensive lineup, and Jay Bateman did a great defensive scheme, calling, especially that last play, I guess it was 4th and long. They nailed Jackson. That was the end of the game.
Yeah, and it was not just one guy. You had 3 guys breaking through on that one. It was total domination there. Honestly, total domination by the defense. I mean, we gave up. They got their biggest play of the game was our mistake, right? That was what gave them life in the game, was us making mistakes. The defense absolutely controlled it. So, and your score prediction was wrong. My score prediction was way wrong. I was hammering the over all week. I thought the defense was going to give up in the 20s. I thought anyone was going to get close to 40 points. We were all wrong. I don't think anybody had a 16-10 kind of game predicted for this play to win. So I don't give you any trouble for the Disney crack whatever pick. It's totally fine. Very surprising. That's the sport, man. The sport just happens. It's unexpected things happen.
I saw another guy that predicted a score that we were going to win by 55 to whatever. Yeah, 55 or something. I was like, it kind of made me feel a little better.
Yeah.
It wasn't as bad as mine was, but it was worse, really. But I think and nervous. Somebody was posting the chat nervous. I said, God, I got down to the thought of I hope we win this game. I mean, we made it look easy on the first touchdown, but after that, we spittered and sputtered, and our defense stepped up. And I'm not taking nothing away from them now. I said Nick scored, and I wish. But I was thinking, man, if we had the 3 that left for the NFL, we would have a monster defense that had national championship wrote all over it. But what we do have is we have some stand-up, great playing guys that did stand up, and they got the job done, man. They said, you know what? If we have to, we'll win this game. Yeah. And they did.
Yeah. We won in a way we haven't seen before through 4 games. We showed another angle of our team. It's something to build on going forward. You've seen it on both sides of the football now. Let's just keep getting better, clean things up. All right, play to win.
That's what we got to do. We just got to get it cleaned up, and we'll just get better next couple of games at home.
You're at home.
And then we go on the road.
Exactly. All right, play to win.
Oh, you heard about Pittman?
Oh, yeah, I heard about Pittman.
Yeah, he's gone. And then probably Freeze. I don't know how much longer he's got. I think he's short.
The thing with Auburn, they needed this game so bad, man. They needed it so bad because they have Georgia in a couple of weeks. They have a bye week, then Georgia. They still have some tough games left, man.
We wanted the game worse because we always lose after a bye week. Well, guess what? We won.
We won, and we won after a big game. So 2 responses right there. That was good to see. It wasn't perfect, but we got it done. All right, play to win. Thank you for the call, sir.
Okay, bud. Talk to you soon.
Yes, sir. Have a good one. Britt Ag, do I have you now?
I think you should have me now. Have you got me?
Loud and clear. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. It's about a year since we spoke.
I'm doing good, man. I'm just tired and a little bit frazzled, but we're hanging in there.
Yeah, so I've got a few things for you today. I've got 3 points, 1 on defense, 1 on read/coaching, and 1 on the officiating. So, bigger picture, I don't know why it wasn't 55. Quite frankly, it should have been.
Right. We had the opportunity.
They were handling that game no problem throughout the entire game, but they just didn't score enough points. You know, and I can see, there's a few things. Maybe we'll get into that with the Reed stuff. But I thought the defense was really the biggest standout from the game. And I think going into the game, my biggest concern was Arnold on those kind of A-gap runs.
Yes.
On 3rd and 8.
Yeah,
and we're notorious for not stopping those, especially through the A-gap, because I can't remember how many games last year there were just A-gap runs that just absolutely soul-crushing on 3rd and 9. Or
even this year against UTSA, that was our problem for half of the game. Exactly, on passing downs, when we bring players to the line of scrimmage, they were running right through that A-gap.
Yeah, and I think there was a few downs early in the game, and he had the chance to do it, and our D-line was able to spin off and then get him from behind. And we were turning those. So in the past, we've let those go for 12, 15 a pop. And yesterday we were able to contain Arnold, on 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, he was getting 5 or 6 yards.
Yeah.
Instead of getting 7 or 8. And I think that made a big difference. And if we can keep doing that, and then back end of the game, I think it was the last sequence of the game, we had a spy on him, and I think the guy that was doing it earlier in the game wasn't doing it, because I noted 27.
Yeah.
Damien Stanford out of Katie
Mm-hmm.
Junior. I thought he did a great job in that last sequence because he spied Arnold on the first 2 plays, and then on the last play they blitzed him, which I was kind of surprised by. I thought they were just going to keep him spying.
Yeah, they
And
mixed
brought him
it up a little bit. They green dogged, they spied, they blitzed, they didn't blitz, they didn't spy. What they did really well, to your previous point, is they got off of their blocks very well and they tackled very well, and they were able to close gaps that seemed to be there, and like you said, chase down from behind, drag them down, or just close the gap overall. And that was something we struggled with before.
Yeah, and if they can keep doing that against some of the better teams, because that's just been a key weakness for me. And you've got to blanket out in coverage, fine.
Yeah.
Well, let's get a couple of other cover guys out there.
Yep.
But if we can really stop those kind of like quarterback runs, like short down, sort of medium yardage,
absolutely,
where a third down gets converted instead of stopped, that makes a big difference. So going forwards, that gives me a lot of hope, because I think, you know, you hear Elko, this great defensive genius, and then you watch a lot of this stuff and you're like,
yeah,
why is this still happening?
Yeah, exactly.
And the fact that they were able to iron that out yesterday was terrific.
Yeah. Must have been a great bye week for the defense, right? You know, they went back to the drawing board over these last couple of weeks, and just kind of thinking about this game and digesting it, you know this was all in the forefront. You know they have seen where they were lacking before, and credit to the staff because they addressed it.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because, you know, as a coach, you know, you go away, you get a preconceived idea, you've watched all the tape, you think, oh, yeah, well, this is how the game's going to play out, right? Mm. And I think your initial reaction yesterday on your stream yesterday was like, yeah, I thought the game was going to go one way, but it's actually gone this way. And the thing is, as a coach, it's kind of difficult sometimes to get yourself off of that mindset.
Yeah.
And, like, I think one of the things you alluded to was, like, this idea of, like, Reed was a bit off of his game yesterday, and there was something kind of stuttering about the offense. And I feel like one of the reasons for that was because the coaching staff had, like, we've got this idea about how this game's going to go, and because from an offensive point of view, they want to be able to open it up. They want to get these Braver and Concepcion involved a bit more, like they did against Notre Dame. And it feels like they were kind of telling Reed to be looking for some of those deep balls a bit more than probably he should have been.
Yes, especially on third down. Exactly. That's exactly right. Because you see on the third down, he's scanning downfield while pressure is on him.
Absolutely.
Whereas you should be checking down.
Yeah, there was one of those field goal drives at the back end of the second quarter, and he was looking downfield the whole time, and he had a shallow crosser come across him, and it was like, dude, if you just threw that, because this guy had his man beat, and I mean, he'd have been gone for like 40 yards down the sideline if he'd just thrown that ball, but he didn't see it, and then he ended up getting drilled from behind by some geezer. And then that kind of rolls into like the pick play. Because like for me, I feel like the thing that went wrong there wasn't necessarily, I mean, okay, yeah, so it was a high snap. But I think for me, the thing that went wrong there is that we were throwing the ball at all in that situation. Why on earth did you throw that ball?
Yeah, Elko in the post-game presser, he said, well, that play was closer to 2 yards, and that's kind of our 2-yard getter, and our 1-yard getter is the run. But at the same time, you've been running so well.
No, fake it and then let Reed run.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Elko, but you're wrong on this one. And I get it, what you're trying to do, but you've got to also free up the player to get a clear picture.
Yeah.
And okay, so the high snap, maybe that took his eyes off of the backfield a little bit.
Yes.
But it's very clear on the tape that guy coming out gets mirrored.
Yeah.
Right? So you've now got a 3-on-3 here. You're not going to get anywhere with that 3-on-3. So don't throw it behind the line of scrimmage.
Yep.
Fake it out there, keep them honest, tuck the ball, and then leg it the other way. And that guy is lightning fast, so he's going to beat it out because it was only 3rd and 1.5.
Yeah,
I mean, 3rd and 2. Yeah, it's gone in the box score as 3rd and 1.
Right.
I'd say it was probably about 3rd and 1.5. But I mean, it just feels like they had a preconceived idea. We need to do this in this situation, and yeah, that's all very well and good. But Reed should have had the freedom to not throw that ball.
Yeah.
Once the high snap's gone in. Maybe, you know, and it just felt like he was kind of like being forced into a box that really didn't necessarily.
Just a one read and done kind of a play. Yeah, no flexibility.
Because like, you know, at the end of the day, that game, everyone was expecting Auburn to have a really good run defense, and they didn't.
Yeah.
And we should have just taken advantage, especially on that drive. I mean, we should have just kept bloody running the ball because. You know, and for that whole middle section of the game where we kept getting field goals or, you know, punting it, everything, we stopped running the ball for like a quarter and a half.
Yeah.
And then as soon as we got back to running ball on that drive, we were just absolutely killing it. And then for no apparent reason, we threw a behind the line screen, which then got picked off.
Yeah.
It was just, like I say, it feels like that was as much on the coaching staff, just like not necessarily reading this game or being too scripted about what was going on.
Yeah.
And then not giving read or make. And again, just finally coming back to that sort of first point about the deep balls, it could be a bit of Manziel syndrome. You know, we had that great game last week, and we chucked it and chucked it and chucked it, and you got all those big long bombs.
Yeah.
You know, and so, you know, as a player, your mind starts going, oh, yeah, no, it's time to launch it. I'm going to launch it.
Yeah. Well, at this point, that's something he needs to hone in, because I think there is a feeling of when he sees it, it's just all-out launch mode. He's not getting the right touch on the ball. He's not getting the right height on the ball. I mean, I need to see one. I need to see one to clean it up. Just the one to get his mind right on it.
Yeah, I mean, the last thing you want to do is as a young quarterback, develop into Russell Wilson now.
Right.
Right, where everything is like, you know, a screen or a long bomb.
Right.
You know, you don't want to develop that. So we really want to work on that. And then look, the final thing I had on my list of things I wanted to talk about was the officiating.
Let's go.
Right, let's go. So the lineman downfield, right? I know you said you haven't seen it. I've only seen it once on replay, which was during the live game. And to me, I felt like the guy went probably about 4.5 yards upfield. And I just hate this rule. I just hate the rule. I just think the rule's utterly stupid. Yeah. And they would need to change it, because like so many teams are running these RPOs and people are getting, you know, flags thrown on them. I mean, the guy was 50 yards away from where the actual play was taking place. It had absolutely zero influence on the outcome of the actual play.
Yeah.
And because some guy in the SEC, probably, you know, third or fourth year ref, he's been given his great big promotion up to, you know, go and do a game at Kyle Field, and he's got some bureaucrat whispering in his ear telling him he's got to throw the flag for everything. And I think you're right about that part. And then the other part on officiating, and it's not necessarily to do with this game, but I feel like it's coming down the line, given some of the games that are on our schedule, is targeting.
Yeah.
What the hell even is it?
There's just no standard. There's no standard at all.
Honestly, they're 6 inches from the crown, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Right. And like last week, I don't know if you saw the Missouri game last week, but there were 2 targetings in that weren't called.
Yeah.
And I was going, why? Why was that not called? Because it was obvious, right?
Yeah.
And then there was another one in the Ducks game last night, and I was watching Todd McShay and his crony reacting to it while having the game on.
Yeah.
Because they jumped on live for the last sort of 15 minutes, and it was appalling. I mean, the guy just absolutely drilled the Ducks quarterback, and it was just no question about what he was doing. And I mean, everyone watched that play was going, that was targeted. I don't know whether it was, and it you know, I mean, like the guy comes in like this, and then there was another one, and I think it was in the South Carolina game last night, but I watched so many games yesterday, I couldn't even keep up with which game it was. And the guy comes in, right, and I don't know, am I live on your screen right now? I'm not, am I?
I can show you. Do you want me to show you?
So
there you are.
So right, I'm going to try and mimic what happened using this fan right here. Okay, so the fan is the player. Okay, right. So the guy comes in with his helmet and he's got his hands up like this, right? And his helmet gets here, and his hands are in about this position, right? So his helmet's slightly in front of his hands, and he's trying to push his hands to go like this, and it's like almost an instant like that, where the hands and the helmet kind of hit together, right? And because he's moving his hands up to try and cushion the impact, that guy got tossed. But the guy in the Ducks game, nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. And the guy's standing there going, there's no targeting on this play, and you're just like,
there's no standard for it. I think the punishment system is bogus for it. I think the players should not be suspended for a second game. I think it should be probably a tiered system where minor targeting, minor violences should be a yellow card situation where it's just a penalty. and then maybe a too technical situation where a second one is a suspension, a first one is not. There's so many ways you can go with it. The main thing is there's no standard for it. It's changing all the time. You can look at two different plays. There's no consistency in it. It's tough. All right, Britak, I got to let you go. I got to get to the next caller, but I appreciate the call. You're right. You're spot on. Good points. Thank you, sir. Have a good one.
Look after yourself, pal.
All right. Moving right along. We'll go to Rich. How you feeling, Rich? Got you loud and clear, Rich.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me? Rich, you
Hello?
with me? All right, Rich. I'm gonna I'm gonna put you in the back room. I'll let you figure it out. I think it might be your volume. Might be your
volume.
Hear me? I have you, but you can't hear me. We'll get you in a second. Lash, how you feeling, Lash?
Oh, just peachy.
How's your blood pressure doing? I know that game was rough.
It rises and falls, kind of like a roller coaster.
Yeah. Well, they won the game.
That's the main thing.
Yeah. How you feeling about it?
Oh, pretty good overall, but there were some issues.
Yeah.
Breaking news: Randy Bond is wanted for impersonating a place kicker. Film at 10.
Oh, I know you were waiting to say that. I know. We need to find consistency in the kicking position. It didn't doom us this game. I'm worried about it. I like Randy. He's shown it before. He was good versus Notre Dame, but I'm not nervous about Randy because I've seen it from him. Not a great kicker, a good kicker, but it's the fact that we had the flip-flop preseason that has me kind of hesitant about the whole situation. We had another guy who won the job. Now Randy has it back. Randy misses a couple. One was tough. One was not as tough. It's weird. Just get some consistency.
Yep. Consistency's the key. And right now we don't have it. Getting back to some things that were said before. Speaking as an old decrepit former high school linebacker, I enjoy defensive slugfests.
Yeah.
Elko should throw chairs more often. Seems to help our defense.
That was a message that was thoroughly put across. Yes.
And they did us on that score. Auburn did us a big favor by not playing Cam Coleman in the slot. They always had him wide left or wide right. We knew exactly where he was, and I think it helped us cover him.
I was telling that to my brother. He's a UT grad, and he was at the game with me. They don't do that much creative stuff with this stud receiver. He's always on the boundary side of the field. We have a corner that can go toe-to-toe with him, apparently, so we're just going to be able to play defense straight up and beat him. It's like there wasn't that element to their game. And I know they believe in their slot guy too, but I think we have a pretty good slot corner. So I don't know, Lash. We have some pretty good – I like the three-corner tandem we have right now. I don't know how much of a difference it would have made, but, I mean, as an armchair quarterback myself, I would say move him around. He's that good of a player to build a game plan for.
Yeah, I'm not saying we wouldn't have been able to cover him anyway, but it sure didn't help them by being so predictable.
For sure.
And when I was playing defense, I loved predictable offenses.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And,
we just teed off. We just teed off on them.
Yep. And the stupid penalties have got to go, especially on the O-line.
Yeah, that's where most of them came from.
And but at least we won the game. I remember a few years back, Vandy came in, and this is back when Vandy was the league doormat.
Yeah.
And I think we escaped with like a 2-point win.
Was this 2020? Pretty recently, right?
Yes, something like that. It was when Jimbo was still here, because I remember what Jimbo said after the game. Well, since we won, I get to be mad all week.
That is a really good point, because last week you had some defensive mishaps, keep that game the way it was. You had some busts defensively, good stuff offensively, not perfect, but some good stuff versus Notre Dame. Probably hammered them over the bye week and the extra week of practice. This week, the offense had all the mistakes, the penalties, the third down conversions. He's gonna hammer the players. He's gonna hammer the staff. But you won the game, so you have all the ammunition you need. You can be a jerk, knowing that the spirits are relatively high because you won.
Yeah, you're not going to break their spirit because they won, but see, you can kick them in the butt and it, and without breaking their spirit.
Absolutely. And I'll say this to your chair point. I loved when he did that whole thing, the chair got thrown, he screamed at him. The players respected it. There wasn't any dissension. There wasn't any looking at each other. There wasn't any looking away. It was full eye contact. It was full, let's listen to this guy right now. This is the moment. So I would assume he has the ears of the players, and I feel pretty good about that.
Yeah. The fact that he was D coordinator before he became head coach.
Yeah.
That helps as far as keeping their attention.
Yes.
And this one comment on Marcel Reed: if he ever finds his deep ball, look out, world.
That's the big thing. When that comes, man, it's 4 games in. It hasn't been there. We've had some good. I think the intermediate throws there. It's really good. He's picking apart zone defenses pretty well. The deep ball, man, and we have to have a better game plan on third downs.
That's the thing. If you can take the top off the defense, it opens up a lot of other things.
Yep, absolutely. Any closing thoughts, Lash?
Oh, yeah. In keeping with the Disney theme that somebody mentioned earlier, I think the SEC had Mickey Mouse and Goofy out there officiating the game.
It was the whole crew. You had Minnie Mouse, Mickey Mouse. I think Pepe Le Pew was out there. It was a pretty rough.
Pepe Le Pew is Warner Brothers, but
I know.
still,
I was making an I don't know Disney ball joke.
And if you're gonna bring in Warner Brothers, you can't leave out Daffy Duck.
That's true. There was some Daffy What the Duck out there. It was rough.
Oh yeah.
But they just had a loose whistle. That's what it was this game. I just felt like things were extremely ticky-tack this game. Auburn got some too. A&M got more. I felt like and they got to be better. There were some bad discipline moments. But all of A&M's big penalties were like on our side or on their side of the field, threatening to score. Maybe even in the red zone on that one where you had the holding and then intentional grounding back-to-back. And they were very consequential penalties. Very consequential penalties.
And as far as Brit Egg's point about targeting calls, I have a possible solution.
What is it?
Tongue planted very firmly in cheek. Maybe they need to take, those bright green vests that the construction workers wear.
Yeah.
You take bright green 6-inch in diameter discs and you plaster them on the crowns of all the helmets. They'll look ugly as homemade soap, but even the blind refs can't miss them. That's right.
Leave nothing up to the imagination. Put it all there, visible. Hell, put some sensors in the dang helmet. Who knows? Make it as corny as you can. Go all in. Let's fix it.
Yep. Something needs to be done about it. My closing thought is Mississippi State is apparently not going to be the gimme game that we all thought it was going to be. So we need to play relatively clean. If they're going to score on us, we need to score on them. So we can't be having the stupid penalties.
Yeah.
We left a lot of points out there against Auburn.
That'll screw you in another game. Yep, absolutely. Well, we'll see what happens, Lash. I appreciate the call. You have a great night.
You do the same.
Good stuff from Lash. All right, I'm going to try Rich again. He was in here next. Rich, can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear. How's it going, man?
Good. How you been?
Good. I mean, just reflecting on the game, feeling up and down about it, but overall, we got a good defensive showing for the first time in the year, so I'll take that.
Yeah, and I wanted to say, I mean, I'm not as surprised about this game as I was surprised about the first 3 games, to be honest. I think when you have that many, going into what we talked about with the penalties, the mistake of basically the pick 6, 2 missed field goals, coming away with an SEC win, it's really impressive that happened.
Yeah.
I think the refs, like, I don't think there were, to your point, every call was legit that I saw. Like, yeah, you're right. But they were looking to get calls, and I didn't expect the amount that happened. And I just come away from that game very optimistic, even on the offense, because I think there were some takeaways that we can grab from that game. And one takeaway, and I think it's going to be a blessing in disguise, maybe not, that Bussy dropped 2 balls, because I kind of want to see them use Bussy more in a motion sweep type offense where you have to worry about, you really just give the ball in his hands. When he has the ball in his hands, he can get away, and I think he's better there.
Yeah.
Then let Craver and Concepcion go downfield, ABR downfield, the slots, running across the slants. Have Bussy going back and forth in the backfield, because he's big enough to break a tackle or two if they get caught up right away. And he can move. So I think that's takeaway one is if we use Bussy a little differently, I think he'll shine a little more into the game that, he can provide the most value.
That's a great point. And honestly, I'm surprised we haven't seen much, if any, of that stuff at all this year. I think last game versus Notre Dame, we ran one Bussy trick play. It was like a reverse pass, to Bussy, and the read wasn't there. But as far as guys that thrive in that kind of play type, you have 3 of them. I mean, it's Bussy, Casey can run that, and Craver can obviously run that with their skill sets. And I wonder if that's a wrinkle that they're expecting to add down the road, because obviously your offense needs to be ever evolving. And it's a good point. I think maybe this was a little bit of a wake-up call for the offense to say, hey, it's time right about now we start showing the next dimension to this thing. And that's a really, really good idea. And that was something I was looking for, because I saw a lot of running success in the game. Obviously, the stats support that. We were able to control the game in that regard, and it was a great game for Le'Veon and Ruben Owens. But I think you can diversify that attack, and that was something I was kind of looking for in the game. It's like we're doing well here. It's getting stuffed every couple of plays, but how do we spice this up? How do we add to our running game? And I think that would be the next depth right here, because I think this game, the big offensive stride was getting that running game going. And of course, we saw Auburn's numbers before this game. Pretty good run defense. I think the number was like 56 was the most they'd given up in a game. They just gave up over 200 to A&M. And, we had the throw to pass established. We got the run. I love that as the next wrinkle.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun to see getting him back in motion. The second takeaway is something very refreshing going into major SEC play is our running back stable might be our most solid group on the team. And I say that because not only can they all run, like the whole Daniels thing, I see what you're saying. Like, yeah, it'd be great to get Ruben the ball more, but they're all hitting linebackers on blitzes. They're picking up blitzes. They're running hard. The offense is able to carry them. Moss is a general on a true stable, and I think that's very nice going into it because, yeah, we need Reed hitting those long balls, but the way he's hitting Craver and Concepcion, if he can get more consistent with that, we keep the running game going. We can afford to miss a long ball or two, and hey, the big games that we do catch them, we're gonna win those games. I predicted 34-13 because I thought it was going to be a coming out party for our defense. I think with 10 sacks, with OU. Yeah. I thought our defense, our secondary was playing so well that this was a coming out party for them, and I think that happened. And I stick by my prediction. I really thought it should have been 34-13.
No, I was going to say that's pretty spot on based on the opportunities that were there that mistakes disallowed. That you're pretty close with that just in the stat sheet and the game flow. It's just the penalties, some of the third downs, it just kept us out of the end zone.
Yeah. And my last offensive takeaway is just more of a tweak. I think there's a lot of emphasis on Reed hitting the long ball and his pass game. And I think this game he really got away from getting confident and just jetting when the pocket crashed. Like he seemed very hesitant to just take off. And so I think taking that, all right, if you add an offense the next week against Mississippi State with Reed not hesitant to take off, you have Bussy handing off the ball in motion, Craver and Concepcion doing their thing. Like, I think that offense, like, right away can click right back, and obviously the penalties. I mean, they could spend all week on that. Obviously, they're going to hammer that It's nothing they're going to be an average. I think the whole Auburn situation did have something to do with the quantity of them called, yada, yada.
Yeah.
But so I was very optimistic watching that. I mean, it was super stressful, the score, but it was just like, man, like this is kind of nice, even though it wasn't, because it's like penalties screwed this up, penalties screwed that up. But overall, like I feel very good about our offense still. Like the country obviously, isn't, and I think that we're in a good position still because of that.
Yeah. Totally agree with you, man. I mean, there's a runway there if this defense can keep it up, and I think it's a really good opportunity this week, coming off of what we put on tape and what we did and didn't do versus Auburn. I think Mississippi State, it's going to be a higher scoring. I think we're going to give up more points. I just think it's going to happen. I think they're a more well-oiled machine offensively, but I think the offense is in a place to really correct it and really come out firing next week. So right now, I'm expecting much improved play. I feel good about the team. This is a game we could have lost, but the defense didn't let that happen. And as scary as it was, like I've been saying, in the moments of this game, as soon as we were on defense, I felt confidence because they were playing that well. But all right, Rich, any closing thoughts?
No, I'm just excited. I'm heading to the blackout game Saturday. Just got approval from the wife, so I'm pretty excited. And
nice.
I agree. I think it's I really think we're going to put it together. I don't think we're going to blow them out. I'm not sure about that, but I think we're just going to come out of that 5-0 and feeling really good.
Yes, sir. Well, all right, Rich, great call. Have a good one.
You too. Appreciate it.
All right, good stuff from Rich. All right, we'll keep things going. We got Brian. You're on with Drew. How you feeling, Brian?
Hey, Drew. What's going on, man? Thanks for having me again. Let me know if my audio sounds bad.
Yeah, you sound great. Thanks for coming back, man. You sound perfect.
Yeah, good deal, man. I don't have any notes, so I don't know. We'll see. I might run off on a tangent on this, but
all good.
I think Torian might be listening to the show, man. I mean, I called him out last week or on Thursday, and he showed up, man. And I called out the tackling, and guess who showed up on Saturday as well, tackling. So
yeah, man.
I'm happy to see it. We played the type of ball I think we're capable of playing. I mean, and I'll say one thing, which I love to see. I didn't get to watch the whole game. I need to go back and watch it. But the moments that I saw, we're hitting when we're making contact, we're sticking, guys, and I love that. That's something we had to have worked on the bye week, man. You just get back to basics, Oklahoma drill, whatever you have to do, just hit a guy and run your feet, and it looks great, man. And it's something I can't wait to. Hopefully, we keep it up.
Yeah, man, they're ramping it up. It's clearly getting better. It's turning the right direction. Well-placed bye week because we saw the defensive shortcomings versus Notre Dame. They worked on it clearly in the forefront, addressed, and now it's better. Now the question is it here to stay? Because if it is, that's going to completely change the game for us.
100%. And the blitzes were well-timed, man.
Yeah.
Torian coming up. Dude, so nice to see. It's just like, Jackson Arnold had no clue what was going on. Like he just, as soon as he's in his drop, it's the guys in his face, and it's a beautiful thing to see. It's like art, man.
Yeah, you had well-timed blitzes. You just had guys winning one-on-ones. You had guys getting around guys. You were shedding blocks really well. You were closing gaps viciously, and if you weren't doing it viciously, you were still chasing guys off, able to disengage enough to at least grab them from behind. It was just a totally different defense, man. And I know Auburn has their issues. We thoroughly dominated them. We didn't let them find life.
Yeah, and I was gonna say something about that too. It's like I've been watching, the national media, and everyone's putting this on Auburn's offense. Like that's not 100% fair. Like we played good defense. Their offense wasn't great, but they've scored against other teams.
Yeah, and I'll say this:
a really good game.
Yeah, compare it to last week versus OU. I mean, Cam Coleman had like 3 chunk plays in the game, and Jackson Arnold probably missed 3 other ones that were clearly available. You didn't even have those available this game. You had maybe 1 or 2 that he just missed, but he missed a bunch in that game too. There was significantly less daylight in this game. A&M really clamped up.
Yeah, who's Cam Coleman again? Was he even playing in that game?
Exactly. He was in a box.
But yeah. And I wanted to say another thing was like, I feel like this is the second curse that we're breaking. We broke the big close game that, we come and win, and then we turn around, and this is the second curse where we come into a game off of a high against a team we should beat, and we go out and we look like a bad team. We survived another one. So I hope that's like gets us into being the team that we should be moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's a big opportunity. You're on this homestand. This is a chance to really find your identity, to really find some consistency. That's why, I've been questioned about this for a while, for a couple of weeks now since I've been talking about it. I think this homestand is so crucial because you're in the friendly confines. You get the extra day of practice that you're not traveling. You really get to work on things coming off of the bye week. Figure it out right now. Find your consistency right now. You have tougher games down the road. Mississippi State is nothing to scoff at, but you have really tough road games coming up. This is the time to do it, and I feel like we're on a trajectory to do so.
I agree 100%. Mississippi State's a scary game. I'm not gonna lie. And you know what I was gonna say? I bet the under. Not the under. I took Auburn with the points, and look, the best case scenario happened for me. Not only did we win, I also cash out. So,
100%, man. Yeah, that was a spot on spread right there. That was the 6.5. Did you get it 6.5?
Yeah, I got it 6.5.
Dude, that's crazy. You got it. You nailed it, and we
so
get the win.
Good, dude. I'm gonna do it again. This is gonna be maybe this is the luck, man. I'm taking Mississippi. 12 points, a lot of points.
It's a lot of points. I was surprised to see that. I don't see how it adjusts over the course of the week, but if you get it at 12, I don't blame you, man. It worked for you this week. It worked for the team this week. All right, Brian. Any closing thoughts, man?
Oh man, closing thoughts. I think the team looks great. I'm excited to see what we're doing in the future. I do want to touch one thing. Shout out to the professor in the chat. I saw this earlier. If we don't throw a pick on that screen and Bussy gets loose and he gets yardage and we roll that and we burn the clock, we end up scoring, no one talks about the call.
Yeah.
It was not a bad call. It was just poorly executed. I don't hate it. I think the box was loaded. I'm not 100% sure. Like I said, I have to go back and watch.
Yeah.
But I'm sure the box was hot and the screenplay made sense. It didn't work out. But moving forward, let's get it done. I love watching this team. I'm excited for the future.
All right, Brian. Good call. You have a good one.
You too, man. See ya.
Jordan says hit the like buttons. Yeah, thank you guys for being here. If you could hit the like, sub, that would help me greatly. Middle of college football season, man. It feels like every week I'm just counting down the days, waiting to get to the next one. Savor this. We're 5 weeks in. It's going to be gone before we know it. We're undefeated. These are the best times, man. These are really good. Jay, you're on with Drew. How you doing, my friend?
Oh, what's up, Drew? How are you, man?
Doing good, man. Doing good. You had quite the Kyle Field experience yesterday, didn't you?
It was all right. Yeah, it was a pretty good time.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm curious. How many margaritas did you get into yesterday?
We got to 5, and then I didn't really sleep afterwards, so I'm hanging on by a thread here, Jay. I'm hanging on by a
That's
thread.
good, though, man. You look great, dude. And I know it's game season. You caught me right now in the middle of making some Texas Roadhouse rolls at my house. My daughter taught me into those, so I'm getting those gains going, too, myself.
You got them homemade?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, we went to HEB and picked them up and just pulled them out of the oven. So,
Dude, I've been wanting to try
they're
those.
still hot and fresh.
You gotta let me know how
Oh,
those
they're
go.
good. They're legit.
Good? Okay.
They're legit.
Okay, I'm gonna
Hey,
add
man,
those to the repertoire.
I'm too old for this, man. I am too old for this. I looked at my Whoop yesterday, and it told me that I was working out for like 4 hours.
Dude,
Um,
what was the
it,
average
it was
heart rate?
so
What was the
stressful.
average? What was the average? Like 110, 120?
I think right in the 120 range. It was
Shoot,
nonstop, and my friends that were with me were like, "Man, you're not being yourself. You're super quiet. You're reserved." And I was like, "Yeah, because I'm nervous." And I'll tell you this: it reminded me a lot of the Texas game last year at home, except we were on the opposite end of that.
Yeah.
I think Texas was nervous, but statistically, they kicked their ass up and down the field. And then miraculously, when we blocked that punt, we were still in the game and had a chance to pull within 3. I think that's a lot of what Auburn was going with yesterday. We were the ones that were nervous
Yeah.
because statistically, I mean, I know a lot of people have been saying this, but we should have been up, 28, 30 some odd to 3-10 at the worst with that pick. But
Yeah.
it reminded me a lot of being on the other side of that Texas game.
That is a really good comparison. And I went with a couple of UT grads, my family, and they were saying the same thing. They said this felt like Texas when they were sputtering with Quinn down the stretch of the year, and Quinn lost his deep ball, and there were opportunities, and you were just getting sent off the field at inopportune times. So yeah, man, that's crazy. That's the second comparison I've heard to that kind of performance. That's interesting.
Yeah, it was yeah, like I said, I never got comfortable. I mean, I was really, really excited about the defense. I got a couple of notes that I'll go through here in a little bit, but I was really excited to see a good defensive performance yesterday.
Yeah.
I will tell you before we kind of get in the ball real quick, it was so interesting. I know you know that my seats are in the zone club, and so heading up, there was this guy decked out yesterday in LSU gear, watching the LSU game in the zone club, throwing things, yelling, screaming, just going crazy. And when they got that last first down, when Ole Miss got that last first down, the dude crashed out in real life. I was like, this is great to see. First of all, I don't know him, and I probably shouldn't be talking bad about him, but like, don't be a knucklehead coming to another game decked out in your own gear, watching it in on the TV, and then throwing a fit when you lose. That was just kind of it was not a great look.
Well, he at least put on a show for the good guys. We got to watch it and just kind of enjoy it. But yeah, I think I saw him. Was he like in a jersey or something? I saw an LSU guy walking around outside of Kyle Field. Maybe I saw the same guy. And I have to give respect
No,
to my Texas family because they don't do that. If I go to a game of
yeah.
DKR with them, I wear neutral colors. They did the same. They actually rep the Texas flag, so they were still pro state of Texas. So I respect that. That's not the move right there.
I was about to say that's definitely not the move to do that. No, this guy was totally fratted out. He had a Peter Millar shirt on and a
Oh, I didn't
yellow,
see this guy.
yeah, he had a yellow hat on with the state of Louisiana on it. So, hey, real quick, a couple of things that I've just got, as far as notes are concerned, man. I am. I'll be critical of Marcel first, and then I've got something great to say about him.
All right.
If that guy could hit 50% of his deep balls, we would be just 50%. I mean, it just seems to sail on him every freaking time, and it's so frustrating. And I saw that deep ball to KC yesterday that he missed.
Mm-hmm.
KC was in the corner of the end zone with his hands up, showing touchdown. Like, man, that was like it was an easy six.
I
And
saw
so I
that.
know that
Yeah.
I know the guys are frustrated too with it, but like, I mean, and I think he's going to get better at it. I think he's going to dial it in. But to complement this, and I made a comment on X earlier about this today, man, that guy is a great leader. He's a great leader. He's a great gamer. And I know that you've got these practice princesses out there that do really, really good in practice. What I see from Marcel as a 47-year-old, I'll use the term ice in his veins because he is unbothered when he makes a mistake. And that is something that is so encouraging to see. When he came out on the next drive after he threw that tunnel screen for a pick almost six, he came back out, threw another tunnel screen with zip and poise and confidence. And I was like, man, he just shook that thing right off. That's the guy that I want leading our offense.
And you have to imagine that play call was intentional to allow him to shake that off, which is great by Colin Klein. Great rapport there. And Marcel also chased the player all the way down and actually stopped the touchdown by stopping his momentum. So credit there. And we've heard, I forget who said this. Maybe it was Elko said it, or maybe some other teammate said it. The Marcel's the kind of teammate that makes a point to know all of his teammates from walk-on to starting offensive line. A guy that's able to joke around and relate with various players on the team. And you can see him not get too high or too low. He's always smiling. He's always bouncy. He's always energetic. And it's just getting that alone from your quarterback as kind of the face of your team. Such a benefit to your team, man. It's huge. The intangible piece is very real for a college quarterback or any quarterback.
Yeah, totally, man. I was really encouraged. The run game came together yesterday. I was really excited to see that. I know you know this about me too. I'm not a big guy on blaming the refs. I thought I did have a little bit of an interesting take on X this week about thinking it was going to be a completely fair and balanced deal that I don't think really ended up that way. I think that someone said in a previous call that, all of the calls seemed pretty valid. I think that I'll make this comment about the running into the kicker from Regis. I don't think they throw that flag if they've got 6 or 7 yards to go. I don't. I think that it was a opportunistic flag with 4 yards to go for them to get the first down. It was so ticky tack, but it was running into the kicker. It was a penalty. It was something that would warrant a flag, but I just don't know that they would have thrown it if it wasn't going to move the chains.
Yeah, every flag that gets thrown at the end of the day is a judgment call because we can say there's holding called tens of times per game that don't get called. But it just felt like the whistle was really close to the lip this game overall. And I don't know if that favored A&M or Auburn more. You can make a case it favored Auburn more, but it was annoying. There were some holds. They were holds, but there are things you just don't see get called that often. Crownover got called again this game for throwing the arms down. It looks like you're pulling him down, but if someone engages on the high chest with you and you punch him down, the player's going to fall forward. We got called for that. We got called for the one you're talking about. I thought the Regis one, you shouldn't be doing that if you're Regis. That was also bang, bang. That one doesn't always get called. So, yeah, it was a ticky-tack day, 100% right.
Yeah, but to our benefit, that long throw to the tight end that got called back for holding was good for us.
Yes.
So again, good for the goose, good for the gander. I think it did lean more towards Auburn, but it was it was a good day all the way around. Hey, how about Des Ricks, Will Lee, and Torian York. And I started with Des Ricks because, man, that guy got so roasted last year in more ways than one by getting beat as a young player and also by our fan base. And he worked hard. And man, I would argue, and I don't need to argue, but I would argue he is our most impactful cornerback this year.
Preach, brother. He is. I mean, he's given up 2 or 3 passes the whole year now, including this game. It's what a turnaround, man. What a willingness to work and not get down on yourself and not dwell and just push forward. Talked about at the top of the show, you bring in Julio Humphrey to compete with him. I mean, that's a calculated move. You needed depth in the room. You needed to push this kid. And he has responded so well. And now it's like this guy might be our best cover guy. Will Lee just had pretty much a classic Will Lee game. The one he gave up, you know, you can argue he had his paws on that ball. They give the benefit of the doubt to the offense on that one, so that's what happened there. But besides that, it was a pretty nails game from Will Lee too. So what you're getting from those corners, man, it's as good as we could have hoped for this year, if not better with how good Dez is playing. And yeah, man, Torian, I mean, the turnaround for him from one game to the next, man, the bye week was big for him, the whole defense, but Torian took that challenge because everyone saw the game versus Notre Dame. It was probably his worst game that I've seen from him.
Yeah.
And this might have literally been his best game.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then I got 2 more things. One is I love the fact that Cam Coleman should have just stayed on the bus. I mean, I love it. I mean, they made him a complete non-issue the whole game. I think that really is sweet for A&M fans, knowing that he flipped from us to Auburn. I know that there's a little bit of some undercurrent of him making a move in the offseason, which we would gratefully accept.
Yeah.
But I just love that he was a non-factor today.
Yeah, man, what a feather in the cap. Because even versus, like, how much did we hear about this OU defense all week? One of the best in the country. They're going to give everybody trouble. This is a front seven to be reckoned with. The corners are developing and getting a lot better. They're playing some young guys out there, but they're a really good group. And then A&M does even better against the best player for Auburn in that game. He's a non-factor in the game. And so much so, late in the game, he finally gets a target that's in his hands. He drops it because he's been so out of the game the entire duration of the night, or of the afternoon. So, man, you X out one of the very best players in the country at his position. And something to build on, man. You're going to see some more receivers down the road. You got a couple of good ones at Mississippi State. Florida has some. I don't know if they'll have any offensive consistency. Obviously, LSU and Texas. That's a really good sign of things to come.
Totally. And then the last thing that I'll say, man, I just got a text right before I jumped on that the line has moved for us to 14 against Mississippi State.
Whoa.
Which is interesting. It opened up, I think, at 12.5. It's moved to 14. I think we match up really well with Mississippi State. The one thing that I love about Elko is the guy seems to be an absolute freaking mastermind when it comes to scheming defenses when he's got film to prepare on. And I think that we match up well from the perspective that their defense is not going to be as good as Auburn's. And our defense seems to be getting better every single week. I'm going to be careful saying this, but I like the Aggies to cover 14.
Yeah, I wasn't as careful earlier in the show. I called it a reckoning. I think a reckoning is coming. I'm not going to go any further than that right now. I'm with you there. I can't wait to watch the Mississippi State film, but from what I've seen, I think I'm in agreement, Jay. All right, man. That was a great call, Jay. Any closing thoughts? I appreciate you calling in today, man.
Nope, that's it, brother. It's good to hear from you and love the show, brother.
Thank you, man. You have a good night.
All right, man. Thanks.
All right, we'll close things out with Lit Sparks. Great calls tonight. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Lit Sparks, how you doing, my friend?
Hey, Drew. Doing well.
Awesome,
how are
man.
you?
Doing good, man. How we feeling about the game?
Oh, I was a little nervous the whole time watching. The things I was excited about was 12th man showed up. That gets an exciting room for recruits to see who they could potentially play for. I was looking at the recruiting side, just seeing who all was visiting. And, I mean, we had number ones in the class of 2027, all in different positions. And they got to see the 5th largest crowd at Kyle Field. That's awesome, because that is definitely what Elko wants, is just our fan base to keep fueling why you play for A&M. One thing I was excited about was the defense for sure. I mean, even without Scooby, like that final sack when Sanford and Hayes just collide at Arnold, Whew, that was an exciting play.
Yeah,
To
man.
just put to like end it. I think the exciting part for it was okay. Our offense isn't generating because I was worried through the week with how the Auburn defense, how just one we know Durkin's either 100% blocking your run or 100% blocking the secondary. Like
Yeah.
you don't with DJ Durkin, you never got half the play style. You could only do half of your plays. With us, we showed that we're going to do whatever we want. That was awesome to see the running breakout, even if it was like the top, run defense. We showed it didn't matter. But I was just like, okay, how do we win without scoring 40? And our defense came through. I think the exciting part was the offense even knew our defense got this. Because that was one thing just through the Notre Dame game we were all nervous about was, will our defense show up? And, man, they came through big time.
Yeah, man. And I kept, to speaking to that big play at the end, first of all, Kyle Field absolutely erupted in that moment. I remember every final possession in that fourth quarter, kind of 5 minutes or less, we're leaning on that defense. Auburn had a couple of stops late in the game, and the crowd was all standing, not just student section. Everyone was yelling. It was unity. It was extremely loud. The pop after that game-winning play was massive. And one thing I like in these games that I thought we had in that Mario Craver touchdown was that stamp at the end of it, especially kind of a close game that's been kind of a lot of gridlock in the game in some respects, in the scoreboard in particular in this one because the stats were not that way. But you want that pop at the end, and we didn't get it offensively, but we absolutely got it multiple times on defense because I think the possession before, Cassius Howell had a big sack. They ended up punting after that, and then we end the game basically again with Deion Hayes and Sanford on that final play, and that was great to see. And to your point about Kyle Field and the recruits that were there, you got a 2027 defensive back commit, and his quote that Hayes Fawcett put out during the commitment announcement was that the 12th man shows up no matter what. That was the statement, quick, to the point, reflecting on that crowd because that was the final thing he saw before he put not pen to paper, but made the announcement. So really good outing in that respect. Really good showcase of Kyle Field. Look, this is not the biggest rivalry or premier game home slate of games you'll have at Kyle Field on a season. Last year was the opposite, Notre Dame, LSU, Texas. But you've already gotten 2 top 10 Kyle Fields in this short season. It was like number 8 or something versus UTSA. You broke seventh.
It beat Notre Dame's last year.
That's incredible. It just shows the expectations and the belief in Mike Elko and obviously the excitement of game 1 at night. And then Utah State still broke 100,000, and then this one was like 108 or 107 for the 5th place of all time. Yeah, man, Kyle Field's been rocking, and we'll be back next week.
Yeah, the energy was exciting, even if it was as nerve-wracking as it was. I mean, a lot of people were getting a little nervous on just, okay, hopefully we get offensive players excited because we do have an offense. They've seen it, hopefully, if they watch the last few games. But it'll be exciting to see what's to come just because with Mississippi State, I would love if we can get both sides glued together to then show the consistency. As flags go, yeah, we just need to clean up. I know Elko's all on that as much as, I mean, he always is hashing about it, but yeah. They'll figure that out. It's just, I'll take this rock fight win because I think that, as everyone's been mentioning, that's definitely one of the curses we were worried about when going into a bye.
Yeah.
Is how do we make sure we get this under our belt? But I mean, the Auburn game, if you look at the series for us since we've joined, always a weird one. I mean, at first it was always the away team that won, and now it's been going more a home team wins. And so it's not the biggest rivalry, but it is one that you always got to look at and just see, okay, hopefully we get by this one.
Yeah, absolutely. It has been a very, very weird series, and A&M's been the favorite in the game and lost it multiple times, and I think it's pretty close to even. I think A&M has like an 8-6 record in the game now after that game yesterday, really, or maybe a 7-6 record. Really weird game, but yeah, man, you showed that you can win a game a different way than you've done it so far in the year. And if you look at the state of the SEC, you look at what A&M's put on tape through different games. Again, if you can just get that high-level offense that we've seen and you can bring that defensive performance forward, this is a Atlanta caliber team. It really is, just based on the schedule ahead. There's some tough games, but if you can bring both of those and play 4 quarters offensively and defensively, you have put on tape the ability to win at the highest level. But all right, Lit Sparks, great call. Any closing thoughts, man?
I mean, we just got to keep our heads down, focus on one game at a time. Mississippi State now is our biggest challenge, and we're going to make it the biggest deal. I'm excited. It's the blackout. I mean, who would have thought when they first announced it, we were kind of like, oh, all right. Now I'm glad it is, because if we can get that room, that field as loud as it can be, that's going to be as better than us facing cowbells, I'll tell you. That was – last year I was nervous, and I was at the watch party for that one.
Yeah, it was a weird game last year, but there's a chance I think they can get a lot of things right this game. I think they've gone through enough at this point, seen both sides of it on both sides of the football, and I think there's a good chance they can go and perform really, really well next week. All right, Lit Sparks, I appreciate the call, man. You have a good night.
You too. Bye.
All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here after that call. Thank you guys so much for being here. Sorry my brain was a little frazzled today. We started the show a little rough. But we're here. We ended strong. Great calls tonight. Thank you to everybody who called in. Really, really fun show. I'll drop another video here in the next couple of days. And of course, I'll drop a Mississippi State preview video very soon. Give you my score prediction on the game. And we'll go live Thursday night. Watch call-in show. Call in, predict your score, a correct score prediction to make the Hall of Fame. No one was even close for this game. Let's see if we can get it right next game. I wasn't even close. And then I will be doing a watch party for Mississippi State. I will not be making it to Kyle Field this Saturday. I'll be here live. So if you're not going to the game, if you're out of state, can't make the trip, come join me here. We'll have a lot of fun watching this one, reacting in real time. Until then, guys, gig 'em. We beat the hell out of Auburn. We're 4-0. Let's keep it going.